HTIC is considered one of the most infamous and prolific terrorist organizations in the realm. Formed and financed by the Empire of Andromeda, the cell served for a large part of the server's history as a way for the Empire to kill, kidnap, and destroy as much as it pleased under the cover of darkness. By disguising all of their criminal operations under a notorious criminal organization, the Empire was able to commit horrible atrocities with no damage to its public reputation. But HTIC was more than just a covert operations agency wearing a terrorist trench coat. The organization's more than willing mindset to commit their crimes publicly and blatantly is what gave them the notoriety that they held throughout the entire history of the server. While HTIC was the first to do so under an infamous and public pseudonym, the Empire was no stranger to using this method to further its political interests. Similar organizations can be traced back to the Empire's earliest history when it was still known as the Republic of Andromeda, when it was funding private criminals to steal money and supplies from the Syrian Federation. Post-Great War, the nation would use private criminals and mercenaries to kidnap 2 hostages from the Kingdom of Basia to be held for ransom in the Citadel. It was not until the Cold War between the NCR and the Empire that Andromeda devised its plan to create a dedicated terrorist organization to further its violent and anti-humanitarian objectives below the table. The Andromeda Intelligence Agency first put together the first rendition of HTIC for its highly classified Operation Matchstrike, where the Empire attempted to commit various crimes against humanity within the NCR to artificially build tension so they could commit to a war with less interest from political peacekeeping organizations. This culminated in HTIC's infamous Iron Farm bombing, in which they detonated the NCR's major financial and industrial asset, killing its mending villager in one overnight attack. They left only one piece of evidence, the group's famous motto on a sign, HTIC strikes again. From this point forward, HTIC would commit several atrocities across various countries, the most infamous of which would be the Shamrock City attacks, the Japan City bombing, and the Skyrest incident. The Shamrock City attacks were conducted to distract the Shamrockian Empire from supporting Basia in the looming Basia-Ceridia conflict, a conflict that Andromeda heavily backed Ceridia in. The Japan City bombing was a targeted attack on the DPG leader, Russ Adams, in which his home was looted and detonated. The final was the Skyrest incident, in which HTIC culled nearly half the population of Ceridia's neighbor and political rival, the Republic of Skyrest. Several smaller operations were also conducted, such as when the organization kidnapped several mending villagers from Basia and hid them in their secret base within Mount Isaac. Overall, HTIC was not just a terror organization, but a cloak and dagger group that the Empire of Andromeda used to manipulate the political atrium of the world and further its international objectives without fear of humanitarian response and condemnation. Truly one of the most nefarious groups to ever operate on the realm.